Hello, this is Cotton Soups, and welcome back to another Loomian Legacy video. Today's video, we're going to be doing a Loomian Legacy 2021 PvP tier list. This will hopefully be like the last tier list of the year, and this will give you an idea of what Lumians you should use and what Lumians that you should not use in the new update, or rather, the weeks coming to that update. Note that I will have to revamp this tier list when like the new moves come out for the new level cap increase, and two, this is all of my opinion, so every decision I make here is based on my opinion and facts that I've gathered throughout my PvP my PvP experience. And yeah, feel free to make your own arguments and suggestions down below, but do note that you have to come prepared for an argument, otherwise you'd just be making a fool out of yourself. So yeah, I think we should start off with Lumians that everyone will agree on, and that's going to be Venolin. Venolin to most people is like a A+ tier wall. And yeah, they have a point. It's bulky, has poison, has speed control with mud spatter, and it can rejuvenate. And it's a toxic type, so it gets rid of poison barbs. But I almost want to say it's an A tier Lumian, just because of the earth types it brings in. Stuff like Himber, Borok, Garbantus even. Senimars, where's Tyrex? Even Oxydrake. And yeah, Tyrex too. It lets in a bunch of these scary Lumians, and Venolin and its team will most likely be weak to it, since Earth is such a good typing, and Metal too. And what makes Venolin even like easier to deal with is that you have a bunch of options to deal with it. You got common revenge killers like Garlash, Hunder, Metronet. You even got Metatoad to outright one-hit KO it if it's at least damage. You got Lumians that can set up on it like Nemare, Peace of Mind, Luminami, Dusket. Again, these Lumians here too. Even clever Valkyries can set up on this. Oh yeah, and Cosme are cracked. So Venolin, in my opinion, is A tier, and well, this is like the baseline of it. It can definitely be an A+ tier Lumian. It's just it lets in so much Lumians, and most of those Lumians are very scary. And yeah, that's gonna be my opinion. Oh yeah, and another good Lumian that most people will agree on is Himber. Himber is an A tier Lumian to me. Like, its utility is off the charts. Being immune to electric in this metagame is super important, since most teams are forced to run stuff like Luminamis and metal types like Valkyrie and Oxydrake, and even water types like Ventation. Being weak to electric is a common thing in this metagame. You got a bunch of these Lumians that are weak to electric. And what does Himber provide? Well, it provides an electric immunity. And since the main abuser of electric type moves, Zulong, Himber can use this as either 1 to set up icicle traps, 2 and deal massive damage to the team. So it definitely has that utility there. And not to mention, it's only walled by like 2 things. Well, 3 things. Ventation, Luminami, and Obsidian. If you couldn't tell, Obsidian is out of the meta. 2, Luminami like is around here, but that's it. Ventation's kind of iffy on what people think it is, on what people think Ventation is. So yeah, most people use Luminami, and that's the only thing it has to worry about. Everything else, it hits neutrally or super effective. So I want to say it's an A+ tier Lumian, just like its other wall breaker friend, Valkyrie. Valkyrie is an A+ tier Lumian. It can definitely be an S tier because of how much it threatens teams. Basically, teams are forced to run 3 Lumians: Chartiki, Metronet, and Iguana. Note that these 3 are like the best checks to Valkyrie. The reason why I'm saying best checks and not counters because Iguana gets 2 hit KO'd by Metal Blast when Valkyrie's +2. Same thing goes with Chartiki, and Metronet has no recovery. And what makes this thing so good and not like down here because of these 3 things is because these 3 are weak to common typings. Yet again, Himber hits all of these neutrally and super effective. You got dark types and Lumians that have dark type moves like Garlash. Where's Thunder? Hunter. Where's Vesp? Vesp, Baratu, Seer Knight with Slapdown. Wait, that's your soul. Vesperatu with Slapdown. Yeah, there are Lumians that can deal with this. And oh yeah, Cephalops there too. There are definitely Lumians that can deal with this trio of walls that can help with Valkyrie. And the worst part about it is Metronet is losing usage because it has no recovery. Chartiki is moving to more bulkier sets, and that lets Chartiki not have a bunch of power left to attack Lumians. And for Iguana, I don't really have much to say about it. It's just good. So Valkyrie's gonna stay A+ for now, and I'm trying to avoid pairing it up with the broken combo that people have found out, Valkyrie and Your Soul. So I'm kind of, if I do pair these 2 up, it's S tier, but Valkyrie for now is A tier. Let's do some easy Lumians. Hunter S tier. I want to say it's Uber, but you do have some stuff to deal with it. You got like Terrifying Seer Knight, Your Soul, Obsidian, Ventation, even Oxydrake to an extent, very robust Sedimars. Where's Unleashed? Actually, yeah, Unleashed is a thing. Where is Cosmere Unleashed? There are things to deal with Hunter, but the thing is that Hunter's coverage is so dangerous that most of these Lumians have a potential to be weak to it. Like Thunder Chomp, Chili Chomp, and yeah, you get the point. The reason why it's not like up here is because those are Lumians that can get it, counter it. Same thing with Garlash. Really good coverage, but Garlash is a bit slower, but its attack power is insane. It doesn't need Hunter's coverage, it's already hitting very hard. If it were Uber, it would probably need to be really fast in order for it to be an Uber. Zulong. Same thing with Venolin, it can have a lot of utility, especially with Ancient Roar, but it lets a lot of dangerous threats in that neither of this meta wants to deal with. I want to say it's A- because while I do rag on Zulong a lot in my videos, Zulong is a good Lumian. And yeah, I'm not using my bias here. If my bias were used, it would be a B-, but it's an A-, A. Let's put in A-, because yeah, Cephalops, it's an A+ tier Lumian now. It's weak to more stuff, although its presence is very threatening, because while you do have stuff like Valkyrie, Nemare, Seer Knight, not Seer Knight, Iguana, Metronet, Luminami, Metronet, Swolder, as being like a defensive check to this thing. Where's Vesperatu? Clever Vesperatu, clever Eclipse. There are things to deal with Cephalops, but its presence is just so big on the meta that most teams are forced to run Eclipse, Clever Vesperatu, or Soldier. Not to mention it does have Hypnotize and Icicle Trap, and that's very annoying for teams to fight up against. Wait, I put Valkyrie down here. No, that's Steady Mars. What am I doing? Another easy Lumian to rank, Metronet, top tier. Hypnotize, Peace of Mind. Letting it to set up on anything is just stupid broken. And it also provides an amazing utility, checking the best melee attacker in the game. Well, the best melee wall breaker in the game. Megagon, Quick Punch plus Brawn Boost, if you didn't know, that is +2 melee attack, is stupid broken. Forces you to run either Mind types that can help with it, like Metronet, or Spirit types. And there are only 2 good Spirit types in the game. I mean, I guess you can count Nevermare, but that gets hit hard by its telekinetic sweep. But these 2 are like our best answers to it. More so Vesperatu than Ursul, since Ursul gets hit by telekinetic sweep. So yeah, it's Uber for now. If Jamie decides to add more Spirit types or Mind types that can deal with Megagon, then I can see this thing going down. It's Eclipse, it's an A tier Lumian. Well, it might be an A minus. It's the same thing with Zulong, provides so much utility, but this thing has 3 immunities, Dark, Light, and Spirit. All those spirits are very common, like stuff like Valkyrie, even Eclipse on its own, Iliguana, Ursul, Vesperatu, Nemare, Luxor, Nevermare, Eclipse again. Yeah, it can use its ability to help it out its team without running a defensive wall. And that mostly comes in use for walling Vesperatu, and Eclipse can be a good sweeper too, if it does get its speed boost once most of the opponent's teams are damaged. So it's gonna be an A minus for now. I might move it up in the later video. Oxydrake. I think it's an A minus. No, it's an A plus at the least. Can definitely be an S tier like Valkyrie. But the difference between these 2 metal types is that 1, Oxydrake is a melee attacker, and 2, it sacrifices some damage and speed for its defensive typing. It walls like half of the things in the metagame, and I'm not exaggerating. It walls the Mind types of this metagame. To an extent, the air types of this metagame. It threatens a lot with Outburst. And there's like only a couple things that can resist Outburst. Steel Crusher, yet again, another strong melee stab like Valkyrie's Metal Blast. And having it on your team, it will definitely give you a lot of advantages, since this thing resists like 8 typings alone. And that's not even like, this is just the minimum. So yeah, that's Oxydrake. Chartiki, it's on the same boat as Venolin here, but Venolin is kind of worse than Chartiki in my opinion. Chartiki does wall the most dangerous range attacking cleaner, that's Protagon. Protagon's an S tier Lumian. It has Deja Vu, and that threatens walls because they don't want to heal in front of this thing, because the opponent can get momentum by switching into a wall breaker that's sitting on a locked in support move wall, and that's not good because you are forced to switch into a wall or a Lumian that might help or not help. So yeah, Protagon's a cleaner. It's a very good cleaner. Its attack is above average. I think it's in the 120s in terms of base stats, and its speed tier is nothing to joke about. Oh yeah, cool thing I found out. Smart Protagon 2-hit KOs Iliguana with a +1 range attack that you get from Analyze. It's basically Loomian Legacy's Genesect, minus the bug typing. Iliguana, same thing with Vanillin and Chartiki, although this does offer more with Flash and Flee and Taze. And those are really good aspects. Speaking of Flash and Flee, another S tier Lumian. Well, possibly A minus, but you know. Luminami's Flash and Flee is so good with its ability. Its ability to gain 1/4 of your max HP every time you switch out is so good. Like most Luminamis don't even run Rejuvenate. They don't need Rejuvenate with its kit. It just heals every time it switches. And that allows 1, Luminami gets healed. 2, bring in your strong wall breaker. Stuff like Valkyrie, Himber, Nemare. Where's Volcaloa? Volcaloa is a big representative of this. Volcaloa. It helps a lot of Lumians that normally would kind of have a bit of trouble getting in. And even Lumians that do have a lot of options to get in, like Himber, Valkyrie, and Oxydrake. It helps those things get in easier. And having a Luminami on your team makes your team so much better than your old team. And I'm just saying, this is probably the best pivot for a while, unless like another pivot with like similar typing with Baffle. So yeah. Let's talk about Wintrix. Wintrix is a new event Lumian. It's basically an ice type Decidueye, but even worse. So it's a A minus. Nope, it's kind of a B plus for me. It does have Perch and Peace of Mind, which lets it heal and set up and possibly sweep. And its Wise ability is incredibly good because of it turns resisted moves into neutral moves and quad resisted moves to resisted moves. So it doesn't matter, like let's say for example, Iliguana. Where the fuck are you? Iliguana resists air, but with its Wise ability, this thing doesn't resist it anymore. Let's say Wintrix is at +1 with Peace of Mind, it's going to be doing a lot more to Iliguana. And since it has Peace of Mind and Purge, it can definitely try and set up on this thing. If you do though, you might want to run Dust. And Wintrix does have a lot of opportunities to set up on Lumian's faces. You can set up on Chartiki, Vanillin if it's not running Barter. You can set up on, not Valkyrie. You can try and set up on Iliguana, not really needed though. You can set up on Ventation. It can, oh yeah, it does have Deep Freeze, so it hits water super effective. So it can possibly try and set up on Luminami as well, and Botox too. So it's going to be an A minus now. It has the same niche and utility as these three, but yeah, it's not going to be up here in my opinion, not unless like more tech you can use with it. And tech does not mean Baffle, okay? Baffle does not count as a tech. Let's get out the easy ones. I said this like the 3rd time, but yeah. Sedimars, same thing as these 4 walls, although Sedimars does sacrifice some bulk for offense, and that's very good for this meta because this meta is offensive, and most of these offensive Lumians like Valkyrie, Himber, Oxydrake, Wintrix, now being might be a part of the meta, Ursul, Vesperatu. It's important to have some offense to your kit, because Chartiki has its Burn, Iliguana has its Taze and Flash and Flee, and Vanillin has its Barter and Mud Spatter, and Poison. So while Sedimars doesn't have what these guys have, it does have offense, and that does help Sedimars' viability go up. Ventation, A minus. No, it's an A for me. It does help a lot with Garlash, and that's something you barely see because Garlash is so good, and with Hunter as well. But what's mainly stopping me from like putting it down here, I mean up here, is that it doesn't have Rejuvenate, and that kind of hinders the wall. And it's not gonna do very good if it has no rejuvenate at all. Although it is mostly needed on most teams, because Garlash is such a threat. So I do give it credit, okay? It's not like the worst in the world. Let's talk about a wall with the recovery. Tyrex. The difference between these two is that one, Tyrex has a better typing because it's metal and earth, so you're immune to electric. And yeah, that's where its viability comes in. It can be used as a status absorber in terms of Taze, you know? Stuff like Aeliguana, Protogon, Zulong, or Zulong. Zulong can't use their Taze or electric type moves on this thing, and since it can run Brawny Clever stuff, it does wall these three minions. And it is important in this meta. It can also wall out Eclipse, threaten Metronet because it does resist. Now it can do a bunch of damage to it. It can be used as a swap-in if Himber is low enough. Its Steel Crusher does threaten a lot of these things up here. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of Tyrex in the future because its typing is just that good. Joltooth, same thing as these guys. It has a niche role, but that niche role isn't enough to make it consistent. For Joltooth, it's bulky, it's powerful, but the thing is, its typing kinda sucks. Being weak to earth and water, being weak to earth is stupid. Because you're going, unless you have more utility other than that, Joltooth, being weak to earth isn't such a bad thing. But Joltooth can't. It has no way of alleviating that earth weakness. So it's gonna stay down here for now. Also, not to mention, it does get revenge killed by like the faster stuff up here. Being weak to light is stupid because you have Valkyrie, Luminami, Aeliguana, Eclipse, and Nemare. Nemare, right now, being mostly used as a defensive wall, and as a defensive pivot, and yeah, that's pretty good for its role. You can certainly try and run offensive stuff, but you're not gonna do much since Valkyrie's just better at that role. So yeah, it's like a faster Luminami with more offense. So yeah. Another wall like Setimars is definitely Swolder. It's like a mix of these two, Venolin and Setimars. Swolder has offense with its coverage. It has poison like Venolin, and it does have speed control with its webbing ability. So it definitely can be used for offense as well. Eclipse, oh wait, I already did it. 2 Eclipses now. Cyrna. It's a decent wall at best. It's like an A- at best. But the thing that's like preventing me from bringing it up is another earth weakness. There are a lot of Lumians that are weak to earth, but it has nothing like to help alleviate that earth weakness. It has no other positives that can equal to its earth weakness. It does help a lot with the Cosmeors and somewhat Metronet. It does help a lot with air types like Nemare and Zeppelin. It does help a lot against some of the light types, not all of them. Helps a lot with Ventation and Luminami, but its role is mostly used on defensive teams, and that's where Cyanite is right now. And unless it gets like something like Rejuvenate or better stab moves, it's going to go up. But for now, it's going to be here. Same goes for Avatros, but not being on defensive teams. Its role is kind of niche because its coverage is kind of unique, and that means it won't hit a lot of stuff super effective. It has Rev Up and Brawn Boost, but remember, Brawn Boost is going, remember, Avatros isn't going to be hitting hard unless it gets Brawn Boost. It does have recovery to help alleviate that situation, but being weak to Icicle Traps is severely hurting this thing, because Avatros isn't bulky like Nemare, and it or Swolder, so it's gonna have a lot of hard time switching in and using Perch to heal up its damage that it's been taken. And most likely you're gonna switch out the next turn anyways, so it's kinda stuck down here for now. I mean, its typing is probably not gonna help it as much in the future, so yeah. Unless it levitates over the ice collapse, that would be amazing. Speaking of levitate, where's Infernix? That stupid wall. The levitate update, it's gonna be an S tier, but for now, I'd say it's an A+. The Phoenix Flame does get rid of status. And Fire Breath, I mean, Infernix is very versatile like Luminami. It can switch out with Power Napper, gain 1/4 of your max HP back. Infernix can get rid of statuses and can heal you back to full health with Phoenix Flame, but it does take away your energy, so it's kind of niche there, and that makes you want to put it down here. But Infernix is already at like its max potential, but in the next update you can run Burn Up, so not only you're removing traps, but you're also boosting your attack, so I guess it will stay in A+ for now, but I might change that. Vesp, an A tier. I mean, most of this tier is mostly occupied by walls, but no, Vesperatu is ahead of its day. I mean, being able to wall Mutagon to an extent, not quote-unquote wall, just check it, is very good for this thing because it checks Mutagon, it checks Cephalops, but that's about it. I mean, Dark is an extremely important coverage because you do hit plants like Chartiki, and you do hit light types like Iliguana, Valkyrie, Minami, and Mare. Super effective, so I guess you can use it, and it is a check to the ever-rising Your Soul. Your Soul is stupid broken paired up with Valkyrie, but Your Soul on its own is very good too. Trapping stuff like Chartiki with Chase Down and Slap Down. I mean, Chartiki can run Barter Ash, but yeah, it can trap Chartiki and Iliguana. And where's Metatoad? Get up here. Metatoad, it can trap those stuff as well. And being able to slap down a lot of the meta is stupid right now because you only have one thing being immune to Dark, and that's Eclipse. So slap down is going to be very useful for it, allowing it to hit the My types in this update too. It does help with Cosmere Unleashed and well, not as much helping. And it also does have the option to run Vegapunk, well, Recovery Jab next update. Also, not to mention that only a few stuff wallet. Ventation is the only thing that can consistently wallet other than Vesperatu. I mean, you can count Obsidian, but no. So, yeah. It can deal a lot of damage. It has utility with Chase Down and Slap Down, but it does struggle with being weak to Light and weak to Ancient because you got like stuff like Zulong, Valkyrie, Luminami, Nemare, Iliguana, Joltooth. Those hit all would be super effective, but you can use Priority. So yeah, it's A-, no, it's in A for now, and probably will stay in A. Borak, just like Your Soul, except sacrifices utility for more offense. Only thing that walls Borak consistently is Obsidian and Ventation. So yeah, that's it. That's why Borak is A, and possibly A+. Reason why it's not A+, in my opinion, because weak to Ice, weak to Icicle Trap. You can get air types in for free, like Wintrix and Nemare. And yeah, although its Earth type is very good, because it can let you hit the dangerous metals of the game. And yeah, and the dangerous electrics as well. So it can be better, but once it gets bulk up, it's going to be a lot more better than before. Blowtox, same boat as Ventation. It lets a lot of stuff in for free. I mean, same boat as Venilin, and it lets a lot of stuff in for free. Poison might help as well, but the thing is, got Swolder here, which will kill you if you try and set up poison on it. And yeah, Blowtox is a good Lumian. I mean, I have my own PvP one, like my own Gleaming PvP, but yeah, it's an A- since it lets us a lot of stuff on it, although it can be used, definitely be used for some offensive stuff. So yeah, Blowtox is A-. Let's talk about Cosmere Cracked and Unleashed as well. Cosmere Cracked is B+, Cosmere Unleashed is A-. This thing gets walled by Valkyrie, this thing gets walled by Valkyrie, therefore it's bad. I mean, you can count Hyrex, and somewhat Protagon, and somewhat Swolder. I mean, not somewhat Swolder, somewhat Ventation. But yeah, mostly walled by Valkyrie and metal types. Also lets Oxydrake get in for free, and that's never a good thing. So unless metal types become less common, these would rise up, because this is stupid strong, this is stupid strong. Cosmere B-. Its walling capabilities is good, but it just sits there. It has nothing else to do. It just sits there stupid. It has no offense. It slumbers and then you're asleep for 3 turns, letting the opponent to set up and switch into whatever they want. And yeah, you also don't gain health every turn, so that's a thing. Stratosaur, a solid B. It can definitely be up, especially after its Mega Evolution, but you're weak to electric. You're also walled by every metal type in existence. You let Iguana come in, Zulong come in, Protagon come in. You get 3-hit KO'd by Borox, Megachomp. You do help with the Cosmere line, but then again, they're not being used as much. And you help with this, but that's about it. It's solid. It does help with bug types, like Swolder and Buzzlin, but that's it. Buzzlin, it's same boat as Avatros. It has unique coverage. It can hit hard with Vigorous. Okay, well, it can hit hard with Vigorous, but the thing is, it's frail. I mean, it's not the best speed right now, and will probably never be. But yeah, I mean, you can run Barter Ash. Once you get burnt, just get rid of your Ash straight away. That's something you can do, and that's what I do. So yeah, it does have utility with Barter. It hits very hard with Vigorous, but it's just too slow. So I guess I'll put it up in A-. Why not? Munchwheel, same boat as Avatros. It does have good utility. It's a metal type, so you're obviously gonna have great utility for the meta. But in order to set up bulk ups even more than Avatros, this is just overwhelming. You can't hit hard unless you get like 3 bulk ups off, and that's not a good thing. You need to hit hard straight away, or else the opponent will get a jump on you. Arapago. Its coverage is insane, but its attack power, not so much. Coverage alone can't carry this thing. If it gets a base stat rework, which I hope it doesn't, it's gonna be top tier. It's gonna be A+, and everyone's gonna be looking down on themselves like, why did Jamie buff this thing? But for now, it's gonna stay B+, unless it gets a base stat change, or it gets better moves, or better bulk, or better speed. It's gonna be in B+ for now. Chachi, same boat as Avatros. Well, not really. Same boat as these guys. This lets in metal types in for free. While you do have Pyrokinesis, Valkyrie gets in for free. So that's not really much of an improvement, is it? You do hit hard with Valjan. It's a 110 base power move. You do hit hard with Elemental Burst, kinda. I mean, your only hard hitting move is your Mind type move, so yeah. Duskit, a worse Metronet, and definitely a worse Lumian for the whole meta. If the Eclipse walls you, Himber can get a free move off on you. Sedimars walls you. Meditoad will kill you if you don't run Spectral Burst or Dark Surge. Seer Knight will kill you. Tyrex will kill you. Nemare challenges you. Zulang will kill you. Yeah, it has a lot of trouble. Oh yeah, Buzzlin too. It has a lot of trouble, especially with these Lumians. If only it was a bit stronger. And yeah, it does get a buff in the next update, so it can fit on Barb's teams. So it's gonna be in B for now. I definitely want to put it up here, but there's just too much Lumians to consider. Terrafly, same boat as Seer Knight. No, not same boat as Seer Knight. Same boat as Joltooth. It hits hard. It's kind of bulky. It is faster than Joltooth. But the problem is, I mean, never mind. It's an A tier, solid A tier Lumian. Hits a bunch of these Lumians very hard. Has poison barbs to set up on these teams. And if you haven't noticed, Swolder and Venolin, and I guess Blowtox, are the only toxic types up here. Up here in the general meta. And if you couldn't tell, Terrafly sets up on Venolin 2, it threatens Blowtox, and it kind of does with Swolder. It can run that one air melee move, air slash, I don't know. But yeah, it's in A tier. It can definitely be an A minus, but I'm keeping it up here because of what it can do to its fullest potential. And here comes the bad Lumians. Maomerc, same boat as Stratosaur, not great for the meta, but it is a solid B tier Lumian, especially in UU, because not a lot of dark types are there. Ikazune, same boat as Duskit, except it's slower and it's frailer, so I kinda wanna put it down here, but it can be used because of its attack stat. If it didn't have that huge attack stat, it'd be here, on the same boat as Cosmure. But yeah, it's a B for me. It'll be a B for as long as this meta goes. Spreezy. It's on the same boat as these walls here. Although this does no damage in terms of physical damage, but it does have Pestilence and Sapland. And that is stupid annoying. Like, you can't do anything once it sets up its Pestilence and Saplands against this. Even Himber, that's considered a check, its best check in the meta for this thing, gets dumpstered on Spreezy if it's not playing correctly. Garbantus, same boat as Duskit. A lot of the meta threatens it, but it does have some utility. For Garbantus, Poison and Burrow to let your melee attack and your melee defense go up, only battering ram though. Zeppelin, it's a solid B plus for me. It's like Avatros but ranged, and it's a bit slower but more attack invested into it. It's kind of like Wintrix in a sense, but its range defense is pretty frail, and its typing is not really great. You're weak to electric, which is obviously very bad because Eliguana, Zulang, Protogon, Joltooth. You're getting walled by metals, most metals. Tyrex might wall you, Eliguana will wall you. Protogon can get in on free if you don't click Mud Spatter. Luminami can pivot off you, so can Nemare. So yeah, oh yeah, and Wintrix walls you, so that's a thing. Colostrops. I want to say it's A minus because it's like Metatoad. It can threaten a bunch of stuff out here, but it's just too slow to do anything. But its defensive typing suffers a lot more than the Lumians up here. So I kind of want to stick it in B+, but A minus seems like a good place for it as of right now. Obsidian. Same boat as Garbantis. It might be a little bit better as the meta grows, but unless it gets set up or a base stat rework, I can see this thing rising up. Or better coverage even. Totsap. Same boat as Ikazune and Dusket. It can threaten stuff. I mean, you can run ranged to hit Ventation and Setting Mars. You can deal with Smolder a little bit better. You can deal with Tyrex a little bit better. You can deal with Metatoad a little bit better. Ursul a little bit better. Vesperatu. But its typing is bad. You're weak to Toxic, Swolder, Venilin, Blowtox are all common stuff here. You're weak to Mine, and Mutagun, Metronet dumpsters on this thing. You're weak to Air, so Wintrix, Nimare, Infernix, if they choose to run Airblade, can hit you super effective. You're weak to Fire, Infernix, Searnite, and will hit you stupidly hard. Oh, and Chartiki too. Iliguana gets a tase off on you. It's not a great thing for this Lumian. I want to say it's B minus, but no, it's a B tier. It's solid, but yeah. Volcaloa, same boat as these guys, except its coverage is a lot more dangerous. Volcaloa's coverage is insane. Plant, Earth, and Ancient are all good coverages for this thing, because just like Colossotrops, nothing in the game resists all of these moves. And especially when this gets Brawn Boost, when it gets a Brawn Boost off, and it's like really fast on more defensive teams, it can sweep up those defensive stall teams. And that's what makes these two really good. What the problem is, like I said, weak to common typings. Volcaloa's bulk is non-existent, so it's gonna have a hard time switching in as well. Eruptodon. Same boat as Ikazune, but worse. I mean, you're not gonna do a lot at all because of Luminami. Mainly Luminami. Mud Spatter can help with Iliguana, but not that much. It does threaten a lot of stuff here, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it can threaten stuff, but it's just too slow. Its typing kind of sucks. Being a pure fire, you might expect that to be a really good typing, but the problem is its bulk doesn't help that typing very much. Now, speaking of good typings and trash bulk, where's Revenine? Here we go. Trash bulk, but good typing. So it's an A minus, not because of its typing, because of its vengeance ability. Although its vengeance ability does promote more riskier plays, especially when you're sacrificing Lumian and Revenine comes in. Do note that nothing doesn't want to take a +2 move. I mean, Venilin might. It does get 3-hit KO'd by Fire Breath if it's not very smart. But that's about it. Nothing in this metagame wants to take a hit from this, but this doesn't want to take a hit from anything up here. Hell, even the dark type that doesn't want to take a hit from this can hit Revenant back. Ragoon, it's a C+. I mean, it can be as good as this, but it's just bad. No offense whatsoever. Slapdown is a thing, so you can do a little bit better. Oh, Gastro, why we haven't put you there? Along with you, Umbra, even worse. Arguably Ragoon is better because Slapdown and Chase Down. Guard Drone, same boat as Ikazune and Eruptodon. and Dusket, it threatens some stuff up here, but it's just too slow, and in Gardrone's case, it's not as powerful as enough to hit those Lumians super effective. I mean, for a lot of damage. Deldrix, same boat as Avatros, threatens the meta with its unique typing, unique offensive typing, but it does struggle to get into battle because of its bulk. And its bulk is a lot worse than Avatros. So it kind of does a little bit worse than it, but it can definitely do a lot more than Avatros can. Terraclaw. It's a solid B tier stuff, a B tier wall. It's pretty bad for the meta. Like, being weak to ice is bad enough. You got Himber, you got Matrix, you got air types like Amare, Cephalin, the guy with a brawler type hitting the super effective Ursul brawler typing. Even this thing with quick punch. Yeah, it's not a fun time for the Terraclaw. But it can do stuff. It does still wall Infernix, but it's just outclassed by Vanillin and Swolder. They're basically the same typing, but just better. This has poison, this has poison, both speed control, and Swolder has that offense to it. And Terraclaw does have it too, but arguably more people would want to use Swolder. Kirlin. Kirlin is the same boat as Zeppelin. Hits hard. Well, not same boat. It's actually on a better boat. It hits hard. Like, it can do a lot of damage. But it's not gonna do a lot. Well, its typing is a little bit good. It's pure to ancient, so it does resist some stuff. But its bulk isn't gonna help Kirlin at all. It's super frail, and that lets Kirlin not being able to switch in on a lot of stuff on the metagame. And yeah, this will be a very common theme with frail wall breakers. Luxor. It's a B+. I don't want to say much about it because I want to put it down here with Umbrat. Oh no, it's a B+ Lumian. It can be even a B for me. But it's a B+. It's a B+ Lumian. Its coverage is okay. It's kind of okay. It hits hard with very smart and light move. I forgot that ability. But yeah, it does hit hard with very smart. It can definitely try and sweep teams as well. Although you're walled by Luminami and Vanillin and Iliguana, so you're not going to be doing much as well. Also, Eclipse is just a better option. Nevermare. I feel like I'm saying the same things over and over. It's like Volcaloa, but a little bit bulkier. It's bulkier, its defensive typing can be used, but it does loses out on its attack. Its attack doesn't help it that much because its attack is below average and it barely hits hard on turn 1. But if you do get a bulk up off and it's 50% crit rate, you can hit a bunch of these stuff hard. But that's inconsistent and not a lot of people in this game like inconsistent abilities. That ties in with Fervenine too, I guess. Gabademic. Same boat as Ragoon. Same boat as Ragoon. It's kind of fast as well. It's like the fastest thing in the game, but everything else is just garbage. Garbage attack, garbage defenses, and since it has a garbage attack, its seemingly good move pool makes it look like it has the move pool of Luxor. The move pool of Umbra. And that's very bad, because you're not doing a lot with Gabademic if you don't have a good attack stat. And that hinders it from being good. Mahoganash. It's a more offensive Krakaloa. It's more of an offensive encased Cosmure. So I guess it does warrant it a higher placing. Not that high though. It's the same niche as Stratosaur. It's a pure fire type, so you might think it does help a lot in this meta, but there are earth types and water types that can kill you if you're not careful. Floran, we're just gonna breeze through this now. Same, it's bad. 4 times weak to Icicle Trap, weak to Brawler, weak to Fire, weak to Dark. Not weak to Dark actually. It's neutral, but still, its typing doesn't help its defenses, and its damage output is bad. It's a worse Breezy in my opinion. Mewtwo. After Gamma Pulse, it might be here, but for now, it's gonna be down here. The only thing that's not stopping me from being in a B- is that it has Peace of Mind. I mean, it's either Peace of Mind or Magnify, I'm not sure, but it does have a setup move, and Typeless does hit very hard, although the problem is Typeless doesn't hit super effective on anything. And yeah, that's Mewtwo's problem. If it does get Gamma Pulse in the next update, I can definitely see it being an A-, but then it's just gonna be Luxor without Illuminate. So that's your problem. Icicle, same thing with Cosmere, but a little bit better. It does have Bane of Haste, Health Gift, Energy Gift, I'm pretty sure, Impersonate as well. It has support moves, so, and it does hit decently hard. Remember, guys, it has 112 base attack. That's higher than Borox. That's higher than Your Souls and Vesperatu. So this thing isn't a joke, although it does feel like it. It is. It's a Lumian in a box. But yeah, it can hit hard, but you might as well just use Himber. It has support moves, but you might as well just use Breezy. So yeah, it kind of sucks down here. It's gonna stay down here for a while actually. Ferroglyph, same boat as Avatros and Deladrix. It hits hard. Not hard. It doesn't hit hard. It's bulky on one side of the attack spectrum, and what do you call it? And its idiosyncratic is just the worst temper. Just use temper, guys. And temper is not even really that great as well because of its low attack and the stuff in this metagame. We have dark and spirit types all over the place. So yeah, Diborg, it's a solid B. Not much to explain here. It's like Icicle, but more Icicle, I guess you can say. It has a worse defensive typing, but it does make it up for its support moves, but not as much as, like, let's say for example, Meditoad. It does have utility, but its defensive typing sucks. Speaking of bad defensive typings, we got Floran and Wakalaka here. Wakalaka is kinda here, but that's about it. Cinnamoth, it's the same here. I mean, I've used it competitively. I know what it's like to use a good Lumian, like Cinnamoth, but no, it's not a good Lumian in my opinion. It's weak to Icicle Trap, and that's what holds it down. Once we get something like heavy duty boots, maybe this thing will rise to like here, but you never know. Trumbull, it's a B+ tier Lumian. It's kinda okay. It does have Earthquake and Mega Chomp, so that's some coverage right there. Same thing as Mewtwo. Doesn't have great coverage. I mean, it does have kind of good coverage, but it's a typeless type. So there you go. Its hardest hitting stab move isn't gonna hit very hard against a lot of these ice and spirits. Servalin, a worse Trumbull. Anyways, your snack, a worse your soul in terms of offense. But your snack is pretty okay. It has Baffle and Tank. Tank is a stupid ability in this game, and your snack is a great abuser of it, but it doesn't do as much as it has no offense other than Slapdown. It does threaten a bunch of this meta though, don't get me wrong, and it's a brawler type, so it does hit the metals, so it does have utility, but not that much. Festifer. Um, I want to say it's a B plus, but its typing is holding it down a lot. It's like the same case as Deldrix, except Deldrix has bad defenses. This has bad defenses. No, it has a bad defensive typing. Its defenses are good, however. It's very good, but its speed tier is abominable. Is that how you say it? It's kind of bad, but its melee attack stat does help it alleviate that negative. So it's a B plus for me. I might move it down in the next tier list or in my final looks. Waka Waka, same as Florent. A Kalos. Oh boy. Okay. Weak to fire. Actually, no, it's neutral to fire. It actually resists fire with Aqua Body, so it does have utility there. It has Brawn Boost, so it hits harder than Himber. However, it's not immune to electric. It does. It's immune. It's I think it's immune. No, I think it's super effective still, even with the ice type. I'm not sure. Watch out for that showcase though. But yeah, it doesn't hit as hard as what most people would want it to hit as hard as. Himber's hitting harder with the personality. A Kalos has the potential though. Sets up on Sedimars, sets up on Swolder, kinda. Sets up on Venolin, sets up on possibly an Iliguana, possibly sets up on Ventation, possibly sets up on Blowtox and Meditoad, sets up on Wintrix and Nemare. Yeah, it can set up on a bunch of stuff, but its typing is kind of good, but I just don't know yet. It might be an A plus tier, and I don't know it, but for right now it's an A. I want to keep it as safe as possible. Scale like B plus Lumian, no, a B Lumian. It's like Ice School, but no, it's like your snack, but even worse. Wendlin, Vespratu, but even worse. Wobblisk. Okay, this is actually pretty good. Wobblisk is a defensive ice type with Ignorant, so it's like Quagsire from Pokemon, but a little bit better. Its coverage is good. Well, no, it's insane. But the thing is, it doesn't hit as hard as what people would want it to hit. Its typing kinda, I mean, its lack of setup ruins it. Its lack of setup ruins Wobblisk right now. I mean, if it got bulk up, I'd see potential because it can set up on stuff like a Joltooth, maybe a Sedimars, Venolin, Swolder to an extent, Barok, and it's one of our best answers to Borok too. Speaking of Borok answers, let's move up Stratosaur. Where are you? Stratosaur, I do hate you, but you do help Borok, so good job. Dargo, worse Zulong, it's instantly bad, Baffle user, can't help at all. Mocho, it's a worse Himber, and it's a worse Wintrix. Let's put you there, and Pyramide. Okay, you're down there. So yeah, this is my tier list. Mutagon, Metronet, Uber. Will stay like this, and maybe this will be here too, but it will stay like this for the majority of the game. Please nerf these guys. Please. Nerf Hypnotize as a whole. Please. S tier, Hunter, Garlash, Paragon, Luminami. These guys will stay S tier for a long time unless Jamie releases some nasty tech the next update and these things fall down like a pack of bricks. But yeah, Valkyrie, Infernix, Himber, Oxydrake, Cephalon. or its defensive typing, or all of those three combined because you're a Haganash. This is basically the tier where either you don't do anything or you do have something but everything else is garbage. Unbrat has its own tier apparently. So yeah, Florant, bad defensive typing, bad defensive typing. So that's my tier list. Please, 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 for the love of God, comment on my tier list and please share your opinions. I know there's a bunch of stuff that I probably got wrong here, like for example moving up this to A, moving this up to A minus, probably down here, but yeah, that's my opinion. Note, your voice will be heard. I just I don't know, your voice will be heard. I'll reply to you, I'll heart your comment, I don't know, but yeah, this is my PvP tier list. If you like the video, if you like my tier list, make sure you subscribe and like the video as well, because there will be more content like this and maybe another tier list in the new Anthean City update. No, Atlantean, not Anthean. This isn't Pokemon Red Bronze. But yeah, stay tuned because I will make my Akalos and Wintrick showcase. Motivation isn't helping me right now because Jamie already released his. But yeah, this is my tier list. Hope you enjoy it.